If I had told you back in June that you'd be in this position one day potentially, if not two, definitely away from handing out the trophy in a bubble in Texas, you would have said what? Would you sign for it?
Yeah, I would have. If you told me that we would finish up in a bubble and that's the way we were going to finish, I would have accepted that result very happily. Mm-hmm. We entered the season with a lot of trepidation, Rich. We knew it was going to be a massive challenge, but we were really lucky in some respects. But, it was also a lot of hard work and sacrifice by our players, club officials, my staff, the experts that worked with us that allowed us to get through this. And, I do think it's important to the game that we have a 2020 World Series champion.
Well, I mean, you're about to have one. But did you think it might not happen at some point?
There were points in time where we were really concerned about our ability to pull it off. Yeah, 100%, Rich. I mean, after the second outbreak, we had the Marlins and then the Cardinals. We were really concerned about where we were, and a lot of people stepped up. Tony Clark helped us, made the protocols not only stiffer, but really worked with us in terms of making sure that players were adhering to them. I think that the staff at the club got much more aggressive, and we were able to hold it together.
Rob Manfred, baseball commissioner here on the Rich Eisen Show. Last time you and I spoke in person was at the Super Bowl. I saw you prior to kickoff of that game. And now here we are. You're about to complete your season. The NFL is in the middle of a season. Those are the two sports that did not bubble up. Have you and the NFL had conversations at all about getting through a season not bubbled up? Has there been any sort of dovetailing between protocols and conversations?
There's been a lot of conversation among the four major professional sports, the PGA Tour, about, what works, what doesn't work. And it goes back to before any of us started playing. I mean, obviously, our situations were very different. Some of the sports were in a position where the bubble kind of setup was workable. We looked really hard at it, and just decided because of facilities and the amount of time involved that we couldn't make it work. But we've tried to be generous in terms of sharing our learning with other sports, and the other sports have certainly been generous with us.
Well, how have you been generous with the NFL? Again, that they're week 7. Like, I'm sure your colleague and friend Roger Goodell would sign for a piece of paper that he would be giving out the Lombardi Trophy, and I would be having this conversation with him 2 days before Super Sunday. I'm sure he would sign that right now. What conversations have you had specifically?
The conversations have with Roger have been at the conceptual level. Our staffs have had more detailed conversations about things. Probably the single biggest topic was dealing with a positive test. What do you do to make sure it doesn't spread? Mm-hmm. Obviously, I think, whatever issues there have been in both sports, really important that we have not had spread on the field in either sport. But, it's those practical scientific problems that, have been the bulk of the conversation between the leagues.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.